He used to work at the happiest place on earth, but his employers are unhappy with what he allegedly did with his camera. North Bay Village renters making other plans.
There are also relocation resources in terms of finding places for residents to go.
After they're told their building is unsafe. A death of natural causes on a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, but what happened next has the family suing. And after making a change in goal,
pass across the shot. Oh, diving across, stopped Reinhardt, and then he covers.
The Panthers hope to make a change in their playoff series. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Elena Key, and today is Monday, April 24th, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A disturbing discovery in the possession of a Walt Disney World employee, deputies say. According to an arrest report, it was a smartphone with 6 years of photographs shot of the skirts and dresses of women visiting the theme park.
As Brian Didlake from 6 News Orlando reports, it also says deputies caught him in the act last month.
At Disney's Hollywood Studios, Orange County deputies say they responded after they got a call an employee was filming an upskirt video of a female back at the end of March. In this arrest affidavit, deputies say that employee was 26-year-old Jorge Diaz-Vega. In a recorded interview, deputies say Diaz-Vega admitted he had been taking videos of the dresses or skirts of unknown females in the Disney World theme parks for approximately 6 years. According to the report, Diaz told investigators he had an estimated 500 videos in his phone. Deputies say Diaz explained he took the video because it was, quote, hard to find them online. Diaz said he filmed multiple females in the Doc Ondar's store, where he says guests often went to buy lightsabers. A deputy wrote, quote, Diaz said taking videos was a guilty pleasure for him, as Diaz showed deputies multiple images on his phone. In the report, deputies say Diaz claimed to suffer from an illness, but specifics were redacted. Yet even with the diagnosis, deputies say Diaz knew right from wrong. A News 6 did reach out Saturday to Disney asking about the allegations, but was just told, quote, the individual does not work for the company.
That was Brian Didlake from WKMG reporting that suspect George Diaz-Vega is currently free on $2,500 bond.
Now to the Disney theme park on the other side of the country, where there is a change to today's schedule. A fire-breathing dragon caught fire Saturday night during the Fantastic Show at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. At first, guests at the park thought the flames were part of the show, but then the fire quickly escalated. Anaheim Fire and Rescue got there quickly and were able to put the fire out. All cast members and guests were evacuated due to smoke and wind.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is in Japan this morning. The governor and the First Lady, Casey DeSantis, met today with Japan's Prime Minister. His stop in Japan is part of his trip abroad this week for a series of visits to allied nations to discuss potential business partnerships.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. We've enjoyed our time so far in Japan and just going around Tokyo.
The international tour will also include stops in South Korea, Israel, and the UK.
A woman and her family are suing Celebrity Cruises for improperly placing her husband's dead body on a cruise which left Fort Lauderdale. Robert Jones passed away in August 2022 from a cardiac arrest on the Celebrity Equinox ship. The suit states that Mr. Jones' body was moved from the ship's morgue to a cooler, causing an improper temperature change for the deceased body. Mrs. Jones is suing for $1 million.
Police in Tampa have arrested a 38-year-old man for kidnapping and assaulting a DoorDash driver. Joseph Killens was armed when he approached a female delivery driver. Police say he sexually assaulted her and forced her to drive to another location. The victim was shot multiple times but has non-threatening injuries. Killens was then found arrested and charged for kidnapping and sexual battery Friday night.
Residents of a South Florida condo have been ordered to leave their homes by tomorrow morning after their building was found to be unsafe. On April 14th, inspectors at the Majestic Isle condominium in North Bay Village said the structure was unsafe because of termite damage and sagging floors. 5 units had already been evacuated after a leak from a roof drain triggered a partial ceiling collapse.
There is a loan for owners of apartments to be able to pay assessments without interest. There are also relocation resources in terms of finding places for residents to go to rent, either short-term or long-term.
The city has also worked out a deal with the neighboring Best Western to temporarily house those who have nowhere else to go.
An art exhibit with the planet in mind is taking over a gallery in Wynwood. As the network's Enzo Canete reports, it's about time for Earth Day.
We're here outside the Museum of Graffiti in Wynwood. It's that time of year where parents lose sight of the refrigerators behind the masterpieces our grade schoolers bring home to spread Earth Day awareness. Outside those schoolhouse walls, however, it's what artists are reducing the spread of. It's making all the difference. An exhibition of artwork made from recycled pollutants branded and distributed to artists under the name Air Inc. It's an event welcoming Earth Day's nightlife, generating tons of foot traffic, all while reducing the footprint.
And I'm standing next to a piece I titled Doomed to Consume. You know, and I kind of see it as our planet, the way we scavenge it and we destroy it. And there's these little golden hidden gems everywhere.
So this show is based around Earth Day, so I wanted to use recycled items. I used the old recycled skateboard of mine, and I also used Air Ink, which is made from, recycled elements, and that's the black you see here dripping. That's kind of like the pollution over the birds, and that's why I wanted to represent using that ink.
From vandals to visionaries, the showcase commemorates artists whose work, once societally frowned upon, now leads the way to a brighter future that not only respects artists, but more so the planet that their practices actively represent and defend.
When I got out of art school, I got real, incentivized to ride my bicycle as a silent protest for the decimation of our climate. So to have an exhibition to bring more awareness about it, I just wish everybody would ride their bike. For me, Earth Day's every day.
Products like the ones used by today's artists and more can all be found at Air Inc.'s website. They are all available for purchase and all designed to fit a wide variety of materials, from wood all the way to metal, for whatever it is you decide to call your canvas. My name is Enzo Canete, wishing you a happy Earth Day from the South Florida Media Network.
Last night, the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers faced off in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. After a scoreless first period, the Bruins scored 2 points before the Panthers tried to even out the game, scoring 1. The Bruins went on to score 4 more points, with the Panthers only scoring 1 more. With Boston cruising to a 6-2 victory, they take a 3-1 lead in the series. The Florida Panthers will play the Bruins again on Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Boston.
After winning both games of a doubleheader on Saturday, the Marlins were going for the series sweep yesterday afternoon. It just wasn't to be as clever as the Cleveland Guardians beat Miami 7-4. The Marlins have won 4 straight series and are now 12-10 of the season.
Something rare has hatched in a zoo here in Florida.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
You just gotta keep living, man. L-I-V-I-N.
A cult movie favorite going somewhere it hasn't been in decades. On to the big screen. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff.
That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
A coming-of-age classic coming back to the big screen. The 30th year anniversary is known as the Pearl Anniversary, and it's fitting since the 1993's Dazed and Confused became a cult favorite because of its pearls of wisdom.
As the network Gabriela Perez reports, this past Saturday, the film had a special screening in Coral Gables.
We are stepping back into the decade of Kiss and Bell Bottoms for the 30th anniversary of the film Dazed and Confused.
This coming-of-age film is being held at the Coral Gables Art Cinema, where fans follow a group of teenagers on their last day of school in 1976. A staple summer flick that captures some of the most iconic lines in movie history, including a memorable soundtrack.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Well, personally, I'm a big fan of Dazed and Confused. Love that movie since I was a kid. Watch it at least 2 times a year. So, you know, I just walked by here. I heard it's coming tonight. I gotta go. I thought
it was cute. Do you realize when he graduated, we were like 3 years old?
Fans are ecstatic to lay back and watch some of their favorite movie stars, featuring early roles for Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, Parker Posey, Adam Goldberg, and Mila Jovovich.
I mean, stuff like this is important to celebrate. You know, it holds a special place in my heart, and you know, my parents and a lot of people's hearts. So you know, be able to actually like experience it the way it was intended to be seen, like it was 30 years ago. It's like an honor to do something like that. It's great.
As this film portrays a real-life version of what a high school experience is really like, director Richard Linklater's 1993 classic picks up the groovy vibes of the 70s, with the characters wear to the music that plays throughout.
This will be a night attendees will never forget, but unlike the characters in the movie, they'd actually be able to remember it. For South Florida Media Network, I'm Gabriela Perez.
A Florida zoo is contributing to the conservation of some critically endangered grasshopper sparrows. On April 10th, the Brevard Zoo successfully hatched 2 eggs after incubating them for just 10 days. The newborns will spend around 21 days with their parents and then move to a habitat where the zoo staff will monitor their health. Once released into their native habitat in South Florida, the birds will help bolster the tiny population. You're watching SFMN Newsbreak. We'll be right back.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs.
My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
That's all time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Elena Key.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.